Now, for those of you that might feel like you need to get a little rowdy today, go ahead, but we've got the TAC next door. We can't have you drug out of here. So I know that most of you have regular jobs and other responsibilities beyond your service to the state as a region, a trustee, or an education leader. And I want to thank you for your commitment to Texas and for your leadership and support in helping our state achieve its higher education goals. Your participation in this conference shows your interest and willingness to help build a better education system for Texas. We're indebted to you for your commitment, leadership, and your many other contributions. This morning, we're assuming that many of you are new to your positions, so let me give you a little historical perspective. In the early 1990s, the Texas legislature decided that the coordinating board should provide training opportunities for newly appointed university regents and extended this to newly elected two-year college trustees during the 82nd Texas legislature. We learned the benefits of extending invitations to other higher education leaders as well, so we have at least one opportunity every year to get together to discuss our common goals and enhance our understanding of key higher education issues. With that in mind, we want to be sure you're familiar with the Texas Higher Education Plan, Closing the Gaps by 2015. Even though we're approaching the final year of that plan, it's still very valid, something we need to make sure we focus on. And we want to be sure you're aware of the state's higher education accountability system and how you can use it to find statewide and institutional data and other information. And of course, you'll want to know the state rules, regulations, and statutes that apply to your service on a governing board. We think that knowledge of these issues will give you a good foundation for your work. For those of you who have been in your position for some time, like Don Flores, been around forever, we hope that what we cover here today will be of interest to you and will give you an opportunity to ask questions that will lead us into a more interactive discussion. I strongly encourage you to talk and ask questions, to express concerns, and to exchange points of view. After all, we're here to learn from one another and to share ideas. And tomorrow, for all of you that stay, and we hope you do, we'll be asking you for feedback on some potential goals for our next long-term strategic plan for higher education in Texas. That is 2015 to 2030. I tell you, I'm going to be old by the time that rolls around. We'll be talking about where we want to see Texas in 2030 and what we see in higher education as higher education's role in getting us there. So now let's get started. We have some excellent speakers and discussion leaders for the opening session, and they will cover different aspects of higher education governance for us. You should have received a folder with a hard copy of our conference agenda for today and tomorrow, a roster of our conference registrants, and a comprehensive listing of the materials that are included on your flash drive. There are also some particularly important legal handouts regarding the responsibilities of board members, along with a white paper on the leadership dynamic in public college and university systems that we'll be talking about more this afternoon. All of these materials, including our presenters and panelists' PowerPoint presentation, have been provided to you on flash drives again this year for your convenience when traveling and when to cut down, and also for us to cut down on printing costs. These flash drives also include electronic copies of pertinent and up-to-date publications for governing board members from the Office of the Attorney General and from the Association of Governing Boards of Universities and Colleges. To get us started, David Gardner, the Coordinating Board's Deputy Commissioner for Academic Planning and Policy, and our academic officer will begin by providing an update on the progress made toward closing the gaps by 2015, which is the state's current higher education plan. Second, Susan Brown, the Coordinating Board's Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Planning and Funding, will provide a summary explanation of the data, metrics, analysis, and reports that can be used by higher education leaders to assist you in advancing your institutional missions and moving the state of Texas forward in accomplishing the goals of closing the gaps. Following Susan's presentation, we'll break into concurrent sessions with University Governing Board members moving into the Austin room, which, is that down this way? To learn more about the process of budget planning for public universities in Texas. The two-year college governing boards will stay in this room and learn more about the process of budget planning in Texas. After the concurrent sessions, we'll get back together for lunch in the Phoenix North Ballroom, and that's where we had breakfast. Is that correct? Okay. For those of you that got up late and didn't get breakfast, not my problem. It was very good. Where we'll have a panel discussion on more practical aspects of your role as members of governing boards. Board Chairman, Vice Chairman Bobby Jenkins, who's with us this morning, will also facilitate this panel discussion with governing board members from El Paso Community College, Texas Southern University, and the Chancellor of the Texas State Technical College System. After lunch, we'll come back into this room for our session on effective trusteeship, ethics, and the avoidance of conflicts of interest. This will be followed by a special session on the leadership dynamic in public, college, and university systems. Finally, I'll provide some concluding remarks before we adjourn for our reception at 6 and our special recognition dinner at 7. We'll begin at this point today to see what progress we made towards closing the gaps for 2015.